Hello, fellow gamers, and welcome once again to Gaming Shelf Help. I'm Brad Davies.
I'm Drew Kochi.
And I'm Sarah Babe.
And today we are talking about Dreams and Machines by Modiphius Games. Dreams and Machines is a 2D20 system that is future sci-fi, future post-apocalyptic sci-fi. It's
low-tech future.
Well, there's also high-tech, though.
Right, but it's post-apocalyptic.
The best way I can describe it, and for good or for ill, this might help you, is that it's just like the game Horizon Zero Dawn, but with the serial numbers filed off, and kind of its own thing behind it, but definitely has that flavor to it. I personally, I think it's great because I really liked Horizon Zero Dawn, and that's what attracted me to this game first.
That was a super fun game. Have you ever played it, Drew?
I have played it. Spoiler alert.
So
Oh wait, Horizon Zero Dawn or Dreams of Machines? Spoiler alert again.
Horizon Zero Dawn.
Yes, I have played it and the sequel.
Yeah.
They are amazing.
God,
Yeah.
The missions?
Yeah.
I could never start all of them.
Yeah.
I was awful. I hated it.
It's a great game.
I love the game.
Yeah, the Zero Dawn is like maybe the first one that I 100%ed trophied.
Wow.
Because I loved it so much that I was like, I'm going back and finding all the little
my
flowers
gosh, yeah.
and everything. So yeah.
I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
That's a good job. Good job.
Yeah, the kids like watching it too. A lot of fun.
Yeah, it's a beautiful game to watch.
It is.
Yeah.
It is, yeah. But we're not
Dreams
talking
and
about that. We're
Machines.
talking about Dreams and Machines.
Tabletop RPGs.
So Brad, tell us more about the game.
So first, you can find it at modiphius.net, which is their shop. They have currently out a starter set, a player's guide, a GM's guide, a GM's toolkit / GM screen, and there's 2 new books that I've seen so far that are coming out. One is Aresta Valo, which is kind of a city book, kind of a campaign area. And then there's new campaign book coming out in October 2024, which is called The Echoes of an Ancient Enemy. You can find it there. It first originally appeared at Gen Con 2023 as a starter set, which Drew happened to be there with us as well.
And you said, "Hey, check this out. It's like Horizon Zero Dawn with the serial numbers filed off. You should get it." And then, I said, "Okay."
And then Drew bought it. Yeah. So that's kind of where we came to this from, because A, we've all played Horizon Zero Dawn and loved it, and B, I think all of us have actually played this game.
I don't remember if I have or not. I think I did.
I mean, you do play a lot of games, so it is.
Yeah, it's bad.
I think out of all of us, Drew's probably played this game the most.
Probably. Yeah.
I think you played a couple sessions.
Yeah,
we played one quick one.
Yeah, we've played a few multiple hour sessions.
Oh, also you can check with your friendly local gaming store to see if they have it.
Of course, yep. It
as
should be there
always.
As well too. We kind of like to give you a couple different places to go. Our general outlook for this podcast is that as of the time that we record this, the game is available and we give you where you can get it. We tend not to go back and do games that are either out of print or that are hard to get, just because we want you to play the games and we're helping you figure out what games to play. So there you go. I guess with that said, what are our general thoughts on this game here?
When I started reading the player's handbook, because there's the player's handbook and the GM's handbook. And I just read the player's handbook because that's the only one I wanted to read. And because that's really going to be that's what people are going to read. Unless they're the GM. And, honestly, okay, all right. I read the player's handbook. There we go. So I read the player's handbook, and it gave me a lot of vibes in the very beginning when it's telling the history. It gave me a lot of Expanse vibes, because there's a whole thing about space and gates and traveling and stuff. And then it was like, oh, it's like that time when the pilot dude was all like, oh, I'm going to go back home. And they're like, oh, but we'll never see you again. And be like, oh, it's kind of sad. So that was an Expanse thing. Spoilers, if nobody, but honestly, the way I explained it, you probably don't know what I'm talking about. So it's fine. It also gave me, obviously, a lot of Horizon Zero Dawn vibes. Also, a little bit of the way they present the game with this character called Carrie, who's kind of just writing on the margins and giving little notes here and there, gave me a little bit of Tiny Tina from Borderlands vibes. That was the only Borderland vibe I got out of it. Also, a few of the archetypes gave me a Firefly feel. And I think that was about it. Oh, also like the layout of the book kind of gave me a cyberpunk feel.
To go back just a little bit here as well, too, since you described the beginning of the beginning of the beginning of the book.
Mm-hmm.
The general setup of this book is that humans have gone out, explored the stars, found gates to go through to explore other planets, set up shop there essentially, and then when these gates close, their machines that they've had kind of stopped working, and they were like, well, crap, we need to do what we can to make these machines work, because originally they were going back through the portal back to basically home base, which I believe is Earth, to get their instructions. So now that they're cut off and the machines don't work, they're like, okay, we need to do something that will make all of our machines work, because that's how our society runs. And they made a AI that was called Builder. And eventually, like AIs do in these type of games, it went crazy, and the machines fought back against humanity. There was a huge machine war, and eventually Builder went silent, and all the machines fell asleep. And that's kind of where you're at now, is that after this big machine war has kind of decimated the cities, turned them into dangerous places to go, you are now living on kind of the fringes of that city, hoping that the machines don't wake up, but also reliant on the technology that you find in these areas. So that's kind of where Sarah was saying the Expanse vibes. That's kind of where you're getting that from, is that they're traveling out in the stars and they have this type of tech, but it's the high tech but also kind of low tech reused tech feel.
Right, because with the Expanse you have the, I believe they're called the Epstein drives, which is unfortunate. But the Epstein drives allow for like I think it's close to FTL, which is faster than light, and they end up finding these gates, and it's all pretty cool. There's also like aliens and stuff too, but aliens. That's the best way to put it. It also gives a little, with the like sleeping machines and stuff, it also gives a little bit of a Tales from the Loop.
Okay. Yeah.
And that's where it varies from Horizon Zero Dawn, right? And the Horizon Zero Dawn games, the machines are still very active.
Grumpy.
Right. Yeah, and part of the world and the danger, and in Dreams of Machines they are too, but it's different, right? It's not dinosaur machines, it's more mech type machines, which also then kind of fills in that mech niche for people that are into Mech Warrior and BattleTech and that, which it's not that, but it has that kind of vibe and feel to it to a degree as well.
How's your initial impression on it?
Yeah, I mean, so my initial, as I picked up the starter set in Gen Con of 2023 when it came out, and yeah, I like in the starter set, it has cards and tokens, which are part of the game system, and using those. So really liked that. And it has like the quick start rules and intro adventure are all part of the starter set. So it's very easy to get into with that starter set, but it is not the full game system. For the full system, you do need the player's guide and the game master's guide to fully encompass the actual rule set.
I think I have played this. Or maybe I don't even know. I should start writing stuff down.
Yeah. But this is going back to, it is a Modiphius system, so it uses their 2d20 rule set with some adaptions, to fit the setting. But that's the base system for the mechanics.
And when you played it, how did it feel at the table? What was your impression?
Yeah, I mean,
give the people a little taste.
Sure, a little taste. We all enjoyed it. We played, I think, 3 in-person sessions that were 6-8 hours long. So we went through the starter set adventure, like the little intro adventure, and a little bit beyond that. And we all enjoyed it. It was something that we did have some difficulty with some things, which we'll get into. But overall, we enjoyed the setting, the feel of it, the different avenues that you had to complete, the choices that you had in front of you. You could choose to talk things out. You could choose to do an action. You could get creative and set a building that you were in on fire if you wanted to. So
why are you looking at me when you say that? I feel targeted.
History, Sarah. So yeah, we enjoyed it. I don't know if it's something that we would come back to long term from our experience with it, but it is something that we have enjoyed as a short term game.
So, like, your group that you played this with, are they like super experienced or?
Yeah, in that group, there's been people that have been gaming for 20 years, and
Okay.
then people that have been gaming for 5
Oh, okay. So this
5
is
years.
okay.
or
So like a
thereabout.
nice
So
nice mix of
Yeah.
experiences. Okay, that's cool. Cool.
Yep.
Cool. Cool.
I was enthralled with this game right off the bat. It has a very slick presentation because it has a little bit of that cyberpunk style vibe to it as far as like the future machines and whatnot and the future tech and whatnot. But it's more vibrant than cyberpunk. Like cyberpunk, I always feel like cyberpunk, the definition of cyberpunk is high tech, low life. But in this, I kind of coined it as like high tech for better life. And that, I don't know if it's 100% accurate, but that's the kind of way I feel, because people are living a pastoral lifestyle, but they're scavenging as much as they can of technology to help better that and try and maybe get back up to that level that they had originally. There's also a little bit of that weird archaeology feel to it too, because people are like, oh, this is lost technology and we don't know how it works. And as people figure out how it works, they're like, oh yeah, this is how we do this. It kind of has that feel of like if all the computers crashed from Windows 11 and someone pulled out, an old Apple IIe and was like, well, I remember how to use this, or people are like, well, I kind of know how to use a Windows 11 machine. How does it do it on this Apple IIe machine? And trying to figure out. It's got that feel to it. That vibe.
But I don't know if I'd call it high tech, because it's not like I guess when I picture high tech, I'm picturing like a sci-fi
right
type setting. And I think I was trying to think while you're talking of a way to describe it, and I guess post-apocalyptic tech is how I would, because you have, right, like sometimes your weapon is a spear,
right,
but other times your weapon is like a pulse rifle. Yeah, but it's not like that is a regular thing.
I feel like it's cozy tech.
Okay.
If that makes any sense, because you don't have to be confrontational in this.
Right.
Like there are dangers, just like there are dangers in like farming. You've got coyotes and predators trying to come after your cattle, or you have woodchucks that go after your tomato plants, and you just finally make your own garden for that woodchuck, and then you start a YouTube channel and Chunk is eating there and you start seasons of it. That went too far, sorry. But I feel like it's cozy tech because it feels like it's comfortable but not without danger. And that's where like the tech comes in.
That's fair. I guess the high tech part comes for me is that they have things that are basically 3D printers for atomic molecules.
Right.
So that's something we don't have. While you were talking, Drew, it almost makes me think of like, and this sounds really weird, and this might be a very dated reference, I'm sorry, but it kind of almost feels like He-Man, where there's technology, but there's also like not quite that disparity between medieval and tech, but it definitely has that like tech non-tech feel. And I really liked it.
That's actually I would say She-Ra, like new She-Ra.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah,
probably
like She-Ra.
It gives me a new She-Ra feel.
And we'll get into it more obviously in our long form there, which you can find at our Patreon as well. Overall, I really love the world. I absolutely enjoy this 2D20 system, which is actually a lot more stripped down than the other 2D20 systems, like their one for Fallout, the new Star Trek one. It just really grabbed me. Although there were some parts that felt, I don't want to say underbaked, but I felt like underexplored that they could have put more into. I feel like maybe the presentation could have been a little bit better in the books. And I think there's a little bit of feeling on that from Drew as well when we talked before this. But overall, though, I really liked it. And I guess to roll into who's this game for? What table would this game be good for? I would say that this is for people who want a sci-fi romp but don't want to go hard sci-fi, or they want a little different flavor of it. I also think it's for people who absolutely loved Horizon Zero Dawn, of course. I think it's also for people who want post-apocalyptic without the everything sucks and we're all terrible and things are bad. I think that's what this game is good for. I would definitely say the starter box, the starter set, is a fantastic pound per pound dollar amount that you can put into it. And honestly, you could pick that up, play the game, try it out, see if you liked it, and go from there. Like, I think that's a great entry point for it. So for me, I would say maybe this is a interim game for people who are between long campaigns. They're like, oh, hey, we're just finished up a campaign. We don't want to get deep into something. Let's try this out and see what we could do. I would think this would be a good game for that. Or I think this is a game for people who like just dig sci-fi but don't want to like rack their brain on like how the sci-fi tech works in the world.
To segue perfectly off of that, that's exactly what we used it for. So would I bring it to my table? Yes, I did. So we used it. We had finished a long campaign and we said, hey, we're going to do some little interim things in between maybe starting the next one. I'd had this sitting on the shelf. One of the guys in the group saw it. He loves Battletech and mech warriors and mech stuff. He saw the cover with the mech on it and he said, hey, are you cool with me running this? I said, absolutely. Here you go. Take it home and read it. And yeah, so my touch point for it was Horizon Zero Dawn. His was mechs. We brought it to the table, and as we said a few minutes ago, varying ages or ranges of experience. So I don't think experience is really a factor with this. I think this could be the first game that people pick up and play, and it could be something that you've been playing for 40 years and you want to give it a shot. But I think, yeah, if it hits those kind of touchstones for you, then take a look at the starter set, because as Brad had said, it is, I think it was like $30, and you get the adventure, the quick start rules, all of the intro character cards, tokens, things that you need to play.
$30?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It was maybe it's 40 now, I don't know, but maybe it was a $30 Gen Con special.
Oh, okay.
But it includes everything you need.
Okay.
And you can continue using those if you choose to pick up the full thing.
It's still useful because it has the equipment cards and it has a bunch of other stuff. So it's
some of them are obviously, because it was made for the starter set, it doesn't have things that are then in the main book.
Right.
But it has enough for you to play for sure.
I think this game is definitely a good segue into other indie games. And I will, as much as Modifius is a larger game company, I will call this pseudo indie. It just has a feel that you should at least have some sort of game under your belt before you play it. Like, it's not I don't think it's absolute beginner friendly. But if you have a group of experienced gamers with you, or at least mildly experienced gamers with you, I think you can definitely have a good game with this. It really feels like a stepping stone into other things because it touches on so many genres. I like it. The vibes are good. I wish they would have not put the history first, because that was a little bit of a slog to read through, and it was quite repetitive. And then it gave you a timeline, and they have an amazing story about a little girl and her mech at the end. And I'm like, y'all should have made like World of Darkness, made that your first part of the book to really suck people in, and then answer the questions of, okay, what just happened?
That's a pretty good summation of Dreams and Machines. So if that sounds great to you, run out to your nearest local game store or jump online. I just looked, like, the starter set's still available on Amazon for, I think it's like $27 at this point. So
even better.
Even lower price point to start. So, it's out there. It's ready to go. If it sounds like this isn't quite your jam, that's fine too. Feel free to pass along. We just wanted to highlight some interesting, cool games that we have seen. If you want to hear more about this game that we're going to deep dive into, feel free to check out our Patreon.
We can do a deep dive because I'm a certified swimmer now.
Nice. So, I guess...
Congrats.
Thank you. I'm very proud of it.
I guess with that, this is Gaming Shelf Help. I'm Brad Davies.
I'm Drew Kochi.
And I'm Sarah Babe. Keep those dice rolling.